Hi everyone, this is Fomafung, your Agile Evangelist, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be addressing one of the most frequently asked Scrum Master, Agile Coach interview questions. So typically you'd agree with me that when you go for your interview, interviewers love to ask this question. So tell me about the time when you failed and what exactly happened. So by the end of this video, you would understand how to address this question. You'd understand how to present your answers in a way that will be selling. You also understand what interviewers are looking for in asking this question. And lastly, you will be able to understand one specific example. Like, I'm going to be sharing with you my real life experience about a time when I failed. So please stay tuned. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining, and you're very welcome. Please, just so you stay in sync with what we do here on a weekly basis, please turn on that subscription button and click the notification bell so you would never miss out on any weekly upload. If you are a returning subscriber, a returning follower, a returning viewer, you're very welcome. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And just so that you are aware, we provide mentoring and coaching services. So if you're looking for a one-to-one mentoring and coaching services that will help you bridge the gap, especially the gap between the theoretical aspect of Scrum and the job market, like conquering your interview. If you're looking for a help in breaching that gap, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We help people. We've been helping a lot of people, succeed, on the Agile career path. So reach out to us if you are looking for anything like that. Thank you so much. Now let's get started. If an interviewer asks you to please tell me about a time when you failed and what exactly happened, how are you going to address that question? What you shouldn't do, please, don't tell them that you've never failed before. Don't tell them that all the time you've always excelled, you've been great and all that. Yeah, that is good, but interviewers would prefer a candidate that have experienced failure before and who were able to overcome or still come out strong and standing from that failure, So interviewers prefer those kind of candidates who knows what failure looks like, because they know that typically if you know what failure looks like, you would appreciate success. You would appreciate, you will be grateful. You will be grateful typically. That's why commonly you see people who've never experienced any kind of struggle in life. For the most part, they are hardly able to comprehend or be empathetic or be able to put themselves in people's shoes to really feel what they are going through. And if you call yourself a leader and you are not able to express some empathy, there is no way you can really succeed in that role, especially as a servant leader, and Scrum Mastering is all about servant leadership. That's why interviewers, they typically love candidates that have experienced some kind of failures, that have, experienced failures and were able to come out of it, because that way they would know that you really possess those skills that is required for being a servant leader. So being empathetic is one of the most important characteristics of a servant leader. So if you have experienced failure and you were able to come out of it stronger, then interviewers will really love you. So yeah, so please do not tell interviewers that you've never failed before. Do not tell them, it shouldn't only be about Scrum. It shouldn't only be about Agile. Think about a time in your life when you failed, and let's say that you've never really failed before, which I really doubt. Or also think, maybe you can also think about the story that happened to someone that and you were part of it. You can also share that story and maybe share your opinion about what you think about failure. What you really think about failure. So you can do that. You can just share that kind of example. So that's how you should approach that kind of question. So now, how should you answer this question when interviewers ask you? Tell them that yes, acknowledge, being a servant leader, trust me, it's okay to be real. It's okay to be vulnerable, to express some amount of vulnerability sometimes. Interviewers just love authenticity. They love candidates that can express some authenticity sometimes, you know. So that's why it is okay to share a story about a time when you failed. Now, let's assume that an interviewer asks me, so please tell me about the time when you failed and what exactly happened. How am I going to address this question? So I'm just going to summarize a little story about myself to you, about a time when I failed and what happened and how I was able to come out of that situation. So to me, one of the times that I've experienced failure, you know, in this agile journey is a time when I joined an organization with a faulty foundation. So based on my experience so far, one of the most challenging things to fix in this agile space is a faulty foundation. What I mean by faulty foundation is that it's organization that say that they are agile, meanwhile they are truly not agile. Organizations that sometimes think of agile as the frameworks. Like if they're saying that they are agile, it means that they are doing Scrum, it means that they are sprinting their work, it means that they are, you know, carrying out all these Scrum events and things like that, or they are doing Kanban and all those things. Well, I mean, that's not what agile should be all about. Yeah, that's part of, you know, the agile frameworks. But if you as an organization say that you are agile, it means that you have the agile mindset. It means that you have the right agile mindset to be able to breed these agile frameworks successfully, you know. But again, I joined an organization that they thought they were agile because they were practicing these agile frameworks, all these events and all the activities of the agile frameworks, but they were not, you know, agile up here. They were not agile in their mind. They were not agile at all. So I faced a lot of challenges, you know, a lot of resistance, you know, from stakeholders, from the people that matter, from the decision makers in that organization. There was a lot of challenges, you know. So left, there was resistance, right, resistance everywhere. I mean, they were just resistance. So it was kind of puzzling to me how people would hire you to come and help them through something, and yet they are resisting the help that you're trying to give them. So there was this particular instance where we had one functional manager who had the habit of assigning work to team members. He wouldn't only assign the work during sprint planning. So right from the intake of requirements, let's say for example, we are participating in an intake meeting, you know, right as we are getting to understand the requirements, the team members are not even there. Getting to understand the requirement with the PO and the business analyst, the functional manager, and all the other people that are typically attending the intake meeting. As we finally assess a requirement, I think that is something we can do right from there. The manager, the functional manager, is already assigning the work to a specific team member, you know, and you know that alone already, there's no way we will finally deliver value at the end of the sprint, because team members get work that they don't even clearly understand what it takes. It's already been assigned to them, and that alone also causes a lot of problems. It breaks the team spirit, because what I observed was that team members didn't really have that unity. They were not cross-functional at all, and they didn't see the need for any cross-functionality, because every team member was just focused on their own little area, you know, on completing their own activity or their own output. That was what each team member was focused on. They didn't really concern about the big picture, like the sprint goal. No, if a team member was able to complete their own specific assignment that has been assigned to them, they don't worry about anything else. If the other team members are struggling or whatsoever, it's none of their business as long as they are done with their own part of the work. So that's how the whole thing has been happening. And, you know, so I observed that, okay, and then I tried to, you know, approach the functional manager to just try to understand where he's coming from, to just try to understand, you know, his mindset, his thought about Agile. So after the conversation, what I found out was that he was clearly a waterfall manager who was familiar, who was very comfortable with instructing people, you know, giving directions, giving instructions to people on what to do. So he felt the need to, you know, assign work to people. So I, you know, after we had that conversation, I tried to just give my coach him, you know, through seeing the impact of his action on the team and on the value delivered at the end of the sprint. I tried to coach him through revealing the problems that his actions were causing. But he was so resistant, you know, he didn't see any need. I mean, he just felt the need to hold on to that power. He felt the need. I mean, he didn't even trust that. I mean, it didn't even make sense to him that how can you allow team members to pick what they want to do? It made no sense at all to him. So I tried countless times and it all proved abortive. So now, clearly, I failed in doing that. I failed to, you know, coach the manager out of that habit. So he kept doing the same thing. He wouldn't only end there. He would come to our sprint planning. Even in all our other Scrum events, he will attend and he will be so vocal. He wouldn't even give chance to team members to speak, you know. So he would do most of the talking. Even like during the sprint planning, he would tell the team members how to do the work, the how part of the work. Typically, team members should self-organize, you know, self-manage and figure out the how. But that was never the case. He would tell them what to do, and nobody should even dare, you know, try to counteract that. So I thought about it. I didn't know what to do. And then I was the first Scrum Master in the organization. After they went through their formal, they brought in a consultant to go through the what they call transition, agile transition. You know, I was the first Scrum Master that was hired. So that was a challenge, and clearly I tried to coach the functional manager out of that. It failed woefully. Now, this is how I was able to come out of that situation. I thought about it, you know, so I contacted my mentor, just tried to ask for insight, advice, that this is a situation, how can I go through this? So he gave me great recommendations, which I then decided to come back and try. And one of the recommendations he gave me was that, okay, now that you are the only voice, you know, there is power in number. There is power in number. So this is not only a functional manager problem. It shows that it is like throughout the organization. It's deeper than what I'm seeing. So he suggested that, okay, for you to be able to create an impact just as a Scrum Master in the organization, there is a need for you to form a coalition. Yeah, that's what he suggested, that form a coalition, you know, because there is power in number. Form a coalition, and from there, I trust that you will figure everything else out. So I came back, I observed, I did exactly that. So this is how I was able to go about this. So after a while, I observed throughout the organization to identify people who may already have some idea about Agile or passionate about Agile. They mustn't necessarily know what the Agile frameworks is all about. But as long as they are passionate about the Agile values and principles, putting people first, having some servant leadership style, you know, even if they don't know that it's Agile, they are already expressing. But I observed those kind of people, and then I reached out to them, you know, just try to sell the Agile idea to them, you know, and tell them what I'm looking for, if we could form a coalition, you know. So my whole intention was to try to set up an Agile community of practice that would set the standard in that organization. So I identify those people. So I identified 3 people, and then through those 3 people, we were now able to form a network. So you would continue to identify more people behind you. And what we did is we tried to diversify the identification of these coalition team that we were forming, not only within our department. It was like throughout the organization, we tried to pick out at least one person that you know, expresses the Agile way of working. So we were able to do that, and then we sold the idea to them, and gradually we began to gain momentum. People became interested, so we and then we were even able to get some leaders, like people who are top voices in the organization. We're able to also identify a sponsor, and then from there we formed what we call an agile community of practice in that organization. We had our first kickoff meeting, and I was so pumped and ready not to miss this opportunity, to sell agile in that organization. So we did that, and during our first kickoff meeting, it went so well. Everybody was so motivated to make sure it works, So from there, we had this voice that there is just power in number. We're able to sell this idea to the organization through organized, consistent training sessions. So we come together from time to time. Every week we organize. So we form a program that was called the Agile Ways of Working. That was what the program was called. And every week we deliver training that will help people transform their mindset to adjust to the right agile mindset. So this functional manager was part of it, and so many other people that had a very strong influence in the organizations and the teams, especially the middle management, like that. So those were our biggest target. We conducted this training on weekly basis, and that program went on for 2.5 months consistently. And then as we did that, we continued to follow up to ensure that they are making effort to reflect these values. So after we did that, the resistance dropped drastically, and as a result of that, functional managers now understood the value of allowing team or empowering team members to self-organize and self-manage themselves in order to deliver better value at the end of the sprint, because clearly they could see just one sprint that they attempted to let team members assign work to themselves. Just determine the how, self-organize and do their work. The team performance at the end of the sprint improved significantly. That is, the value that was delivered at the end of the sprint was just wow. And this functional manager was amazed. During our sprint review, he was so happy. All his teeth were just out there. He was just so excited. He even appreciated me for being patient, and everybody was so excited. And after that, he never showed up in any of our events again. Even if he showed up once in a while, it's just to come, just sit and observe. He would not, take over the whole meeting or hijack the whole meeting like that. So, so I was able to establish the first Agile community of practice in that organization, and it was a huge success. So the lesson that I learned out of this whole thing was that there is power in number and there is power in collaboration. As you can see, I tried to do this on my own. It didn't work well. But after that, I decided to lean towards collaboration, also exercising patience, and we were able to now together conquer that resistance in the organization. It wasn't like everything just went away, every resistance whatsoever disappeared in one day. No, the point was it reduced, and the key was we ensure that we are following up to ensure that there is sustainability. So that was what we did, and that was the outcome. So what I learned from this, as I already mentioned, there is power in patience, there is power in number, and there is power in collaboration. So that's my story. So if an interviewer asks me, during an interview also, you just want to pay attention that you don't want to go and be explaining everything deep like that. I'm just doing all this because I just need you all that still trying to learn to understand exactly what happened, but you can frame it and summarize it in a way that will not take so much time, and put it in an interview that way. I'm hoping that as you've been listening to me telling this story, you've captured the way I put everything. Interviewers, now pay attention, interviewers are not looking to just hear a time when you failed and they say, oh, okay, she has experienced failure. Nope, that's not just what they are looking for. They are looking to hear about a time when you failed and what you learn out of that. That's what they are looking for. So if for those that are in our mentoring program, we have a motto in our mentoring program that we never lose. We either win or we learn. That's what we say. So everybody that has passed through our mentoring program, they know this motto. We never lose. We either win or we learn. So any failure or any time that we don't achieve our goal, we use that as a point of improvement and try to make lemonade out of every lemon. That's exactly what interviewers are looking for. They are looking to see how you were able to make lemonade out of that lemon. That's what they are looking for, so that they'll know that you don't just give up easily. You would not just come to the organization and every little challenge you just give up. Yeah, they are not looking to hire that kind of person, So yeah, so you have to state a time when you failed and then state the lessons that you learn out of that failure. At the same time, if you were able to, figure out a way after that failure and rise to the top, tell them that that's what they are looking for. So pay attention. They are looking for 3 key things. A time when you failed, the story of the time when you failed. Secondly, they are looking to hear how you were able to rise above that challenge, like how you were able to make lemonade out of that lemon. And then thirdly, they are looking to hear what you learn from that situation. Those are the 3 key things that interviewers are looking for. So I hope I was able to tell my story to a way that will benefit you. I hope you learned something out of this. Please, if you have your own story, we are all here to learn, not just you. As I am putting out this information out there, as you all know, I am also looking to really learn. Please also go ahead and use the comment section, share your experience, share your story, tell us about the time when you failed. If you have any input, any feedback, please use the comment section. Go ahead and share that. We all should continue to learn and make this space, very, very, very valuable, because that's why we are all here at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. If you still haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you will never miss out on any upload. Thank you so much. As we'll be ending here today, I hope to talk to you next time. Bye.